Hi everyone, this is Vicki and I record a brief video showing you how I would go about doing Design Post 2. There have been a couple questions and I thought it might just be easiest if I did a quick little demonstration. Just to go over a few of the key points, we have an image size here, 640 by 480. So you can either print these instructions out or you can just make a note for yourself, but I'm going to make a quick note right now so don't forget when I set up my Photoshop document that I want it to be 640 by 480. Okay, I have a number of images that I can choose from. I'm going to choose the lime, and then I'm going to bring it into Photoshop and use it as a reference. I'm going to use my pen tool to draw this image. So really this photograph of the lime is just going to be a template for me. And I'm going to choose 5 values of one color. So let's go over, first let's download. So I'm going to scroll down, I'm going to click on the lime picture, and then I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to save image as. And I already actually have this downloaded, so I would just change the name here and then say save. But I'm going to cancel out. And now I'm going to minimize this and go over to Photoshop. I think what I'm going to do is set up my document. And this is going to be my vector image. I'm going to make it 640 pixels wide by 480 pixels in height. And I don't need my resolution to be so high. Actually, I'll go ahead and leave it at 200, and then when I save for the web, I can reduce that. Everything else is the same. And then I can either drag from my desktop, or I can browse in Bridge, or I can just go to File, Open, and I'm going to go to my desktop and find the lime image and open that. Okay. And now I need to move this over into my new document. So I'm just going to drag it over. There we go. And just center that. So now I have a background, which I don't really need, but I can get rid of. And then I have this layer, which is going to be my template. Now I'm going to go ahead and set up some colors. The easiest way to set up colors that you're going to be using over and over again in any one document is to go ahead and create some custom swatches, especially if they're colors that you think you might use again and again. You can see over here in the color panel, there's another tab called swatches. And I already have some custom swatches set up, and these are swatches that I use over and over again in logos or in advertisements that I put together for people. So we're going to set up our 5 values of one hue. I'm going to go ahead and use green. So the way I'm going to do this, and there are a number of different ways, but I'm just going to click on my foreground color. And that brings up the color picker. And then I'm going to go ahead and pick these are hues from left to right, and these are values from top to bottom. You can pick any color family just by going over to the slider. So I kind of want a yellowish green. Not that yellow. I'm going to try to match this as much as I can. There we go. And then I can sample these. So I want a dark. And I'm not going to say OK. I'm going to say add to swatches. And I'll name this green 1. And that takes me right back to the color picker. And then I'm just going to move up above that green to a lighter hue. And again, don't say OK, just say add to swatches. This will be my green 2. I'm going to go still lighter, add to swatches. green 3. You can name these whatever you want. That wasn't very much different. There we go. Add to swatches. Green 4. And one more really light. Add to swatches. Green 5. And I can say OK and OK again. Then if you go to the bottom of your swatches panel, and you can resize these if you want, but I don't really need it to be very big because I just need these 5 colors. So I'll just scroll to the bottom and then I can see all of my greens right there. Green 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now I'm ready to draw. I have my colors, I have my template. So I am going to click on the pen tool and I'm going to make sure that this is set to shape. And if I like, I can go ahead and set my first fill color. And you'll see when you click on the fill that all your new swatch colors are here at the bottom. I'm going to go ahead and start with a middle, my green 3. I don't want to stroke, and I'm ready to go. Now with the pen tool, I have some straight lines and I have some curved lines. So I am going to click, and the minute I click with the pen tool, look over on the right and you'll see that a new layer has formed, and it's called Shape 1. So I'm going to go ahead up to where my curve starts and click again. That gives me a straight line. Then I'm going to go to the other side of my curve and I'm going to click and drag and try to match that curve. And again, just like you did last week, you can adjust these. And you'll see that my shape starts to fill in. Then I can simply click for another straight line. And it looks like I'm finished, but I'm not. I want to finish this shape. So I want to go back to my original point and click to complete that shape. Now I have a shape. It's on its own layer. I can change the color. I can adjust the paths that I use to make up the shape. I can do any number of things. But I'm going to go ahead and go to the next shape. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and hit return. And when I hit return, that commits that shape. Now when I click with the pen tool or change the fill, it's going to go on a new layer. Oops, no it's not. Okay, I'll go ahead and start my new shape and then I'll change my color. So again, I click and you'll see another layer called Shape 2. I'm just going to do the same thing. Click, click and drag to go around this curve, matching as closely as possible. Click and finish my shape. Now I'd like to change this color to a lighter hue, and then I'm going to go ahead and hit return. And I just keep going around like this. Each time I start with the pen tool, it creates a new shape layer. And I'm creating a drawing with the pen tool using the lime as a template. And I'm going to hit return each time to commit those changes and to make sure I just don't keep drawing on the same shape layer. I'll go over here and do one more. And just make sure you complete each shape. So that's the general idea. And then remember, once you get these basic shapes in, you can go back and you can alter them with either the path selection tool or the direct selection tool. So if I wanted to modify that shape I just made, I could click on that shape and then I could move the individual paths around if I wasn't quite happy with how I had filled it in. And that's the same principle if you decide to use the shape tools. If you have shapes that you can use with one of these tools, and almost any of these would work. So if I wanted to use the polygon tool, I could click and make this a triangle. And then using my path selection tool, I could move it into position, and then using my direct selection tool, I could fine-tune it. So if that works for you, go ahead and do that. I kind of like the drawing aspect of the pen tool, but feel free to do it whatever way you feel works for you. And then remember that you'll need to fill in all the shape areas. So that does mean that you'll have to trace this inner area and fill it with one of your, and you don't have to do it all at once. You can use the pen tool, or you could connect these shapes, just do long rectangles and then just do this star shape in the middle. But you'll want to complete that. You want to save a copy of your Photoshop document with all these layers in case you need to return to it. But then you're also going to go Files, Save for the Web, and make sure your image size is correct, and just save it as a JPEG. It doesn't have to be very high. You can go high, 60 to 80 quality, and then save. And that's the one that you'll post. Let me know if you have any additional questions, and I hope this has been helpful.